Welcome to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and in this dynamic series, we dive into the challenges, breakthroughs, and victories of entrepreneurs who have turned their passion into success. Welcome. Hi, welcome to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and I am so excited today to have my guest, Craig Aycock, with me. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different business ideas, right? And because Business on the Vine is about hearing through the grapevine of all the different ways that people run businesses, are successful with businesses, overcome their struggles, right? We all have all of those in our business. We have to address all of that. This is what I'm so excited about talking to you about today. So let's start with the business that you've had forever and how successful it is. And I want to talk about we were just talking in the green room about how there's not a lot of marketing needed for this business because it's all by referral. You've had the business for so long, but it probably didn't start that way. Let's go way back and rewind this and say, how did you get into the construction business?
The construction business started for me a long time ago. I was in commercial real estate for like 30 years.
Okay.
So we built shopping centers and warehouses and small office parks and things like that. So, and then my father, even farther back, my father was in the trades as far as in the music business, but he was in the trades part of the music business.
Okay.
And so he was a cabinet maker, and basically his job was he was a piano technician, master piano technician. So I learned a lot from him, and that's kind of how my doing things with my hands got started. And in the construction business, and building warehouses and shopping centers, stuff like development, things like that. I got my hands dirty doing that kind of stuff. But then my uncle built custom homes, so I worked with him also. So I did that kind of construction type of work. And it got to be to the point after my career in commercial real estate, I decided, I love building things. So or start another business, fourth or fifth business, whatever. I was just where it started another business. Just building things for my own, have my own little company through my work. That's kind of how the whole got started. And I have a cabinet shop. I build my own cabinets.
Right. Yeah, my dad's cabinet. Was a cabinet, master cabinet. Yeah. So I totally do. Yes. Oh, I definitely do. All construction. Everything about construction. When you look back at someone's going, well, I just want more business. Why do you have 4, right? But I don't think you set out to have 4, right? It just kind of happened. When you look back on that, do you think there is some aspect that is a detriment to your career? And then I'm going to ask you the opposing side.
Sure.
Like a detriment to your career or any part of your life. It's like, why can't I just stick to something? Or do you think that this is what life is all about, right? That when passion pulls you, you gotta go.
Well, I look at people, I get envious of people that have a 9-to-5 job.
Okay.
Because having your own company, it's a 24-hour day job, 7 days a week. You never stop thinking about it. You have to constantly network and things like that. So you never have the chance to break away from that business, people for 9-to-5 jobs or work the government or whatever. And they get to come home and do their little hobbies or whatever they have. And they get to have that break. I don't. I've never had that break. But it's on the other side.
Because there's two sides.
Two sides. On the other side, I'm my own boss. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to be my own boss, even though I have clients that want me to do certain work. That's of course they're a boss kind of thing. But I like having doing my own thing, my own hours. The others is 24 hours. But it's my own hours. I can kind of get to where I want to be when I want in the morning.
Right.
Whatever time that is. But it's usually early. Right. I'm used to those types of things. So that's the other side of that.
So are you a good boss?
Yeah, I think I'm a good boss. I think
to
myself. Not always. No, there's a lot of work going on, and there's a lot of stress, there. And I put a lot of off myself. Doing a good job, a good quality job. And I put a lot of stress on myself for that.
So someone who's watching this is saying, well, he just said he's not a good boss, 24/7, blah blah blah. Or that you bet that. What do you say to that person? What are some of the mechanisms that you or strategies that you have to bring yourself back to square one and say, hey, Craig,
no more messing around. It's time to get in, into this. How do we balance that?
Well, you have to have a goal to set to make a day job happen. You have to have a goal to make a job to have to get this done by a certain time. And the achievement of getting a job done, and having the practice just look good, and I can step back and look, oh, I did that.
Yeah.
Like your father, your father did this. Like he counted on 30 years of his cabinets at the end of the day, but I did that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And that's kind of what I look at. As far as like when I go into a job, I see a room and I do temple work. That's my canvas.
Right.
So, and that's my canvas. I feel like I'm an artist of some sort. So I'm an artist and I do that work, and when I'm done, I'm like, yeah, that's. But I always see flaws. That's what I see flaws.
Well,
and
we're
I go,
all critical of ourselves, right? Yeah. So if we compare this to someone who has, a business and a business that isn't construction, and they're meeting with clients and they're solving a problem, that becomes a canvas, right? Here's the challenge, here's the problem. How do we rebuild that up and make them successful if they have clients that they're trying to coach them on something, or if they have people that have renovations in their home, whatever it is, fixing their car, whatever it is, I think about the way that, does that propel you on a daily basis? What do you do to keep you going every day for that same process? Yeah.
Paying the bills is one thing.
Yeah.
One thing,
Yeah. Knowing that you got to pay bills, so you got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think everybody's kind of that genre. I got to pay the bills. But I mean, I love the craft.
Yeah.
I love, like my father. My father, he worked hard, he worked good, and he loved his craft. He was a true craftsman and a true artist. He wouldn't say that about himself, but everybody else did. He was, for what he did, he was very famous for what he did. And I look at myself the same way. I look at what he did, and I say, that's what I want. I want to be that. And that's I've kind of based my life on doing quality work and doing a good job.
What you do currently is very tangible. So there are business owners that have intangible and work. They can't look back and stand back and say, wow, I built that cabinet, I built that thing. It's a lesser visual type of thing. We're going to go to break here in just a second. And when we come back, I want to talk about, following that craftsmanship, following that passion, and whether people should start a business if they don't have the passion behind it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. We got the answer. But we're going to find out the details, so stick with us. We'll be right back. Well, we're glad you're back with us. We're sitting here chatting about business. And, one of the things that I wanted to ask you is we were going to break, and you said, yes, you should. Is that, some people have a passion, and should they make that their business? Or some people have a skill, should that make that their business? Or should they find a way to make these two come together? Or just, in your case, you kind of transition from one thing to another. We're going to talk about that here shortly. Just let life happen. Try the business this way. If it doesn't work, hey, next business. Can it's life or
It does. You're right. It does. I mean, some things don't work out for you. Like you go to a restaurant.
Oh yeah, yeah. Up, down.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, but as far as as far as working with within what you want to do, like your passion or your skill. I mean, if you have a skill, is that your passion? I mean, is that a passion that you
never know?
You never know. So, and sometimes working in your passion, even though it's your passion, there's might not be, there's a point you want to make to do that thing.
Well, and it can become a drudgery, right? In my husband's case, like he was a master mechanic for years and years and years, and that's his passion. He says that's his passion, but he got tired being underneath things and went into financial services. But now he's going, hey, should I do that passion again, but in a different way? Because then it becomes a drudgery.
Yeah.
People,
I
don't love it as much.
I get certain hobbies I like doing. There's certain things I like to do, little hobbies and stuff. I got balls on like it was in the business.
Right.
That's what I do. I'm
right.
sure like you, I mean,
Yeah.
you see something, you're like, well, I could talk about that on the different, type of venue.
Yeah.
So it's all those kind of things that you want to do, but let's try to make you the right amount of money for you to keep that passion going. And your passions change over time. So you
Right.
start doing something, it can evolve into something totally different.
Yeah.
So, there's always that type of
We're human, right?
Yes.
We're human. And I think,
You evolve.
yeah. And I think, sometimes the passion is dormant while you're having young children because it's got to be on the back burner. You can't really solve what you want because it doesn't pay your bills. My point here is just making sure that everyone understands that it's not set in stone.
No, nothing.
If you start something and it's not right, don't hang on to it. It's okay. Maneuver around it, but just know how to, know when to recognize it and then move on and figure out what that might be. When you're in the construction business, that you've been in for a long time, that you're in the construction business, do you have a lot of 1099s, you have a lot of contractors, subcontractors, right? You have these guys that show up and don't show up and this, that, and the other. Tell us how you have managed your team.
Well, all my subs and the people I work with, I've been with for a long time. I find good people, just good quality work. I might pay a little more for what they do, but I know their work and I know they do good work. I know they're polite. I don't have issues with them. I don't have to find them at the 7-Eleven or wherever.
Right.
Like that. I find the guys I like, and again, they might charge a little more than somebody else would charge, but I know they do great work, and I know they're nice people. So that's who I use. I've been with most of my guys for 15 years. I haven't changed this stuff that much. I've tried a few times, and it's never worked.
Right. Yeah.
Because I look at them and go, you're not doing the good work and she does.
Right.
But I pay him more, but okay, that's fine. I'll do that route. So.
Did you have a period of time where you were hiring improperly and kind of learning that skill? What am I doing wrong? In a lot of businesses, they start off with, I just need a mini me. I need someone who can do what I do. Right?
I have a mini me. My daughter works with me.
There you go.
Ashley, my daughter works with me. It's great. I love it. She's like that. She does good quality work. She helps me out. It's great. I love it. But finding somebody in the beginning, it was a little different. So I knew a lot of brokers, as far as real estate brokers. That's where I got a lot of my business. These brokers, things like that. And so I started meeting a lot of subs or guys in the trades that do decent work. And we said, no, they do good work. And so I would.
So it's kind of word of mouth.
Yeah, it's kind of word of mouth kind of thing. And I said, okay, I'll try you out. A lot of them were from the beginning. I stuck with those guys because they did do good work, and I can recognize that, thank God. And so I could see what they were doing.
I think that's a really good point because I know a lot of companies that are starting out these days, people are saying, where do I find these people? And they say, well, you can try Upwork or Fiverr or all these places. And these are just so distant. And the way that I brought on, my operations director who's done it for 5 years was word of mouth. It was posting on Facebook. Hey, I'm looking for somebody and being referred by someone else. And that's what worked out. So I think that's a lesson here, right? Is talking to people.
But that's kind of the best way. Yeah.
It's not just the mechanics behind it. You've got to have the personality. You have to have the history.
But in my end of the word, in my end, you have to have that quality. You have to, people, you go in somebody's house and right. And if they don't see good work,
right,
they're going to look at it and go, that guy didn't do it.
Right.
Even though he's myself, they look at me.
Oh, yeah. It's all your fault.
It's all my fault.
Yeah.
And I pride myself on sleeping that day. So I'm like, I could live here. I like that. I could live here.
Right. That it was, that you would do it as well. Yeah.
I do that in my own house. So that same people at work, work for me, work in my house.
Yeah.
Because I trust them.
Yeah, and that's powerful too, right?
I give them my keys. Here's my keys. Go in there and I trust you.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so I know that things have changed, right? So you've done this for a really long time.
It's evolving.
It's evolving. I know, change. Okay, change. Yes, it's evolving. So things are evolving for you, and we're going to take a break in a minute here, but I want to ask the question before we go. The break is, so let's tell everybody what you're doing. You're doing a voiceover.
I do voiceovers related. I'm a voiceover production company, so I do plan voiceovers. I do commercials and things like that. So movie trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I mean, so it's interesting. And if you haven't figured that out yet, with his beautiful voice, figure it out. So what I want to ask you, and I want you to think about is, if you go to Craig, is, how did this start coming to the surface, right? It's come to the surface where it's like, well, now I have a construction company, but it's not enough. And not maybe from a financial perspective, but just from a fulfillment perspective in your life, right? So let's talk about that when we come back from the break. Okay, sounds good. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. We're back. We're just laughing and having some fun about some things, and especially as we're talking about voiceovers with Craig here. He said he's pretty enough for radio. That's not true. You're very handsome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. So I left you with the question when we left before. It's like, how did this voiceover start emerging? Did you have this voice forever, and everyone said you should, or is it something that just tell me how you felt?
So many years ago, I was a musician. I've been a musician all my life. I started playing music when I was very young, very, very young. My dad was a
at the piano.
But I started playing when I was 3 years old. So I haven't stopped playing music ever since. Later in life, when high school wasn't going very well, which is never very well. But anyways, I started working in recording studios when I was about 17. When I was working in that recording studio, it's in Maryland. I worked at a recording studio. There's a man there for Warner Brothers Music. I was playing guitar there, singing and doing some other things. And they hired me to be a session player for Warner Brothers Music. So I went around and played on tempos around the country for bands that so anyways, so working in a recording studio though, I did a lot of jingles for local shops and stores. And they'd always come and say, "We love your voice. Can you read the script?" Okay. I didn't think about voiceover.
Right, you were doing singing.
I was just singing, or I was just playing drums, or I was playing guitar, whatever. I was just doing something that works. And so they said, "Just read the script. Well, we need this for this ad." And I'm like, okay, but I was getting paid to be there, but I wasn't getting paid to do voiceover. So that went on for a little bit, and then I went on the road touring. I was a touring musician for about 5 years, Warner Brothers. So I did that for about 5 years, and then that ended, and then I ended up getting real estate.
Yeah.
Right, I'm still playing music anyway. But when I went as I did my career in commercial real estate, I started feeling like, I like voiceover. I like doing that. I like being in that genre. I love being in recording studios. I have my own recording studio at my home. So I love doing that type of work. And I started practicing more, going to school to learn about it more. Got demos done for myself. And that was about 10 years ago, whatever. And then I started hunting around, trying to market myself as a voiceover. It takes a while. It's not an easy business. It's you're auditioning.
Constantly. Always.
It's like it's an acting job.
But isn't that what you do in business too? You audition for opportunities. Yes.
And you're always like,
it's always on. Look at my stuff. Buy my thing. Buy this. Yeah.
So, but it's a practice where you're told that was a lot, and you're told a lot, or nobody says anything. You just don't hear about it. That's acting. That's the part of acting. So thanks for coming by. But that's kind of how I got into the voiceovers. I do my own marketing. I go out and market myself. Networking. I get out, try and push myself as a voiceover production company, which is my own voiceover. It's a fun job. I love doing it. I love doing that. I like making those things because I can do my own music beds. I make my own demos. So
as you're making, well, again, it's an evolution. Are you ever going to stop your construction company? Is that your goal? Okay, so your goal is to stop the construction company, sell it, do whatever you're going to do, get hand off to art. And, to have this be full time, what are some of the fears you have as you're walking inside? How do you feel and what are you saying to yourself?
Well, if I, once I end that construction company business, after a while, it takes its toll on your body.
Yeah,
Really.
right.
It's like I'm starting a new business.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
I'm all starting all over again. So you have to do controls. Overlapping right now. But you have to start all over again. Basically, it's just like now I got to make money at doing this. I got to make serious money, and that's what I'm trying to achieve now to reach that goal to stop the other business. I hope I can.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
this.
how often, this happened with me too. Not coming into this business, but I was an executive manager and
Right.
leader, and when I went into sales, I was struggling and hustling. But how is this going to work? And I got to make this work. And then I realized, wait a minute, you have this set of skills that you need to apply to this. And as soon as I did, and you started. It wasn't the limit. I just went, we went way high up. And so how often do you reflect back and call that friend from your construction days and go, hey, this is how you used to do this. Why not apply it now? Or are you?
Do I do that now?
Yeah. Are you saying, how did I start that? And how did I do this? Let me just remember how I did it so that I can rinse.
I go into things. I just jump into things.
Okay.
That's the way I do it. I'm like, I don't really need to call anybody. I just
You don't need to call yourself from 15 years ago and say, hey, remember when you did
I
this?
could call myself and say, stop doing that. I could do that a lot.
Right.
But I just, if I find something I'm passionate about, like we talked about before, I just kind of like, I'm just going forward through this. I'm the kind of guy who's just jumping into something.
You want to do the quantum leap. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I just know I'm going. I'll learn on the way.
And if I'm either going to make it or I'm not going to make it.
Right.
And if I don't make it, I have plenty of skills where I can go to something else.
Yeah.
But I want to make it as a voiceover guy.
Yeah. Because this is what's being told to you now.
Yeah, that's and it told to me a long time ago. I love being in the recording studio. I got my little thing and I can hide in there and stuff, that kind of thing. But it's like I said, I have a face for radio. So, but I love doing that. I just love doing it. I like doing the voices. I like doing, I'm not a character actor, but I just like doing voices for different Southern or Western or neutral or whatever it is. Yeah. I just like doing it.
Well, and that's what's important about you being here is one, you're chasing a dream, you're chasing a passion, you're evolving, yourself and moving into that, right? And simultaneously, having you on the show, we want business owners to hear and see you, right? So they can have you do their commercials because they're not doing the voiceover, right? Maybe they're at a point in their business where they don't have the luxury of just being 100% referral, which you have in your construction business. So now is the opportunity for them to say, oh my gosh, I really love him. I know him behind the scenes. I have trust because I've seen him talk and his challenges and triumphs and what he's doing. And so I love that we're sharing this with everyone so that, we can get, because look, on our websites, we need to have little ads. And we need to have little voiceovers, not little, but good voiceovers for those types of things. So I love that. So as we finish up our time here, can you do this in your voiceover voice?
Okay.
Because it's slightly different, right? It's slightly different. Yeah. And tell everybody, how do we get in touch with you? How do they get in touch with you?
You can reach me at craigaycock.com. So it's Craig Aycock, CraigAycock.com.
Love it. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, thanks for coming over here. Yeah, I love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for listening in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Business on the Vine. Thank you for joining us on Business on the Vine. If you found value in today's conversation and would like additional support, go to supportfromjen.com. Remember, the best ideas are always discovered on the Vine, so keep innovating, stay inspired, and continue to grow.